Tunisia's president has announced that he now has the power to dismiss judges and has removed their right to strike. Kais Saied's decree follows the dissolution of the Supreme Judiciary Council, one of the last institutions independent of the presidency. It's the latest contentious move by Saied since he sacked Tunisia's government and froze parliament last July. Elizia Volkmann joins us now on the phone from Tunis. So, Elizia, just explain to us exactly what has happened and what it means. So there's a new temporary judicial council.
Yes, the new decree has created this new temporary judicial council. As last Sunday, he issued a decree that dissolved the old Supreme Judicial Council, which was the watchdog over the justice system and the judiciary. But there's been a long, bitter wrangle between the president and the Supreme Judicial Council since September, when he declared he was ruling solely by decree. So he gathered the three powers of state, executive, legislative, and judicial in his hands. But the judges have pushed back against this because they say they're independent and they demand autonomy. On the other side, there has been a lot of criticism of the judiciary and of corruption in the judiciary. So there has been some popular support for Kais Saied, but there's also been a backlash from G7 states, from the UN, decrying what he's done, because there's a big difference between a strong reform of an organisation that has issues of corruption and completely abolishing it. So what we've seen since then is that judges have been on strike. The Supreme Judicial Council has actually taken the Ministry of Interior to court, demanding the keys to their headquarters back, but we're still waiting on the judgment for this. And there's been a strong pushback against donor states. The EU is now in discussion about whether or not they're going to continue to support the Tunisian state financially, and that's looking very fragile. So rather than the appeasing process that Saied seemed to take earlier in the week by offering this temporary judicial council and his foreign affairs minister trying to appease G7 states, it seems that he's gone back to his much more sort of authoritarian, sort of strongman type of resolutions. And today there will be a march demanding the reopening of the Superior Judicial Council. So there's still, as they say in football, all to play for.
That was my next question. With this planned protest, how might this impact things? Are people allowed to gather under COVID rules? Might this latest move fire up the protesters?
This will certainly, put fire in the protesters' bellies for sure. It's a complex situation because under COVID rules, big gatherings and protests are still banned. I was speaking with the executive committee of Citizens Against the Coup who are organising this protest, and they said that they actually had come to some kind of agreement with the police about how the demonstration was going to play out, because there's certainly a lot of discontent within the police force because there have been purges and they feel, in a very fragile position. They're very aware that Tunisia is losing its status on the international stage, and they're very concerned about this because the armed forces and the security forces have benefited greatly from the donor states in terms of reform, improvement, equipment. So they're very, very worried themselves. So this does change things. Kais Saied may replace, the forces who normally, guard and secure marches. At the moment, we don't know. Before, we were expecting a relatively peaceful demonstration that would be allowed to go to the Superior Judicial Council headquarters within the constraints of, law and order governed by the police. But now everything's changed, so we'll have to watch and wait and see how the day plays out.
That we will. All right, for now, thank you for that. Elizia Volkmann there live from Tunis.